4 years ago, 6,000 girls auditioned for a TV show. The idea was to find a new musical star to put on the West End stage.
Connie!
It was audacious.
We had to break the mold.
It wasn't always popular.
There were people who didn't give me a chance from the word go.
But it worked. 3 series later,
Jodie!
the seismic shift that plucked the finalists from obscurity
I love this.
still reverberates for them today. This is the story of what happened to some of those hopefuls after the TV cameras went away.
This show can completely change your life.
It was the best decision I ever made.
You never know where it could take you.
And it's also about the man who put them there. The godfather of musical theatre, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Sugar daddy, come on and sugar me. Look at me, I'm begging for me. Come on and sugar me. I want to love it, so come on and give it me. Sugar daddy, oh. Look at me, I'm begging for me. Sugar daddy, set me
She got stuck in traffic in Cricklewood with 3 fellas eating bacon butty on the way back. I did, for many, many years, tried to get into the West End and they never let me in. But I think that's because I was about 20 stone.
Jodie's become a star of stage and screen against all the odds, when you consider that her first television appearance was as a contestant on the reality weight loss show, The Biggest Loser.
You don't feel like you're living your life to the ultimate, and I really don't. It's just horrible. It really is horrible, sorry.
You have to go for like an interview, and I had to stand there in a swimming costume, and I tell you, I ain't been swimming for years. I was almost kind of ashamed, but if you really want something, you've really got to put yourself out there, you know, and you've got to take the good with the bad, and that's what I did.
Having won the competition,
Jodie, you are the UK's biggest loser, and
Jodie found the courage to audition to be Nancy.
My mum heard it on the radio. They were auditioning for Nancy. Do you want to have a go? I was like, oh, Mum, I've not sung in ages. But I went for the audition and voila.
You could be Nancy.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
What followed became one of the most memorable moments from the whole series. 14 seconds of classic Jodie.
Try that one.
From where I don't. Oh, I'm so chuffing at me, I really... Oh, God, it was a bright light, stay away from the light. Oh, I just... Oh, God. I can't help.
Let's unleash the Nancy's. First up, it's Jodie Prenger.
Jodie was like this great ball of fire. I just thought, oh, actually, they have put this girl through for, you know, colour. She'll just be, you know, a bit of a laugh. And then she sang, and you realise that she can really do it.
Should I give up, or should I just keep chasing pavements, even if it leads nowhere?
But from the outset, the judges had their doubts about Jodie's suitability.
During the show, I got called too old. I went and bought wrinkle cream. And then they were saying, oh, you're too big to play the role of Nancy. But the girls that had played the role of Nancy before were the same size. I mean, I was about size 16 and now I'm a size like 14. So I just took it on the chin.
Did you win something called The Biggest Loser?
I did. I know,
What did you lose?
I lost 8.5 stone in 6 months.
Well, then you therefore lost the entire weight of Jessie.
I know.
I thought, stuff you, I've been 22 stone. You can't call me big. This ain't big, this is just normal.
You could still be Nancy. Congratulations.
This spirit and the public's support
You could still be Nancy.
took Jodie all the way to the final.
Could still be Nancy. Well done. Congratulations. Could still be Nancy.
There she faced Jessie.
You could still be Nancy.
Andrew and Cameron's tip to win.
Is she right for the role of Nancy?
I think Jessie was born to play Nancy.
That final show was really marred. I felt bad for Jodie, knowing certainly Cameron and possibly Andrew really didn't want you to win.
All right, well, let's check in with Andrew.
Well, I never thought I would agree entirely with Cameron McIntosh. We shouldn't have been asked that question. I shouldn't have answered it.
Oh, it was the toughest night in the entire world. And when we both stood there, I kind of geared myself up. Right, Jodie. Jodie, smile when they say Jessie. Smile when they say Jessie.
Jodie!
And that's when I nearly went into heart failure.
Andrew, once again, you put your faith in the public. Are you pleased with the result?
Yeah, the people's Nancy. That was always going to be the people's choice, I thought.
Oh.
After Jodie won, I thought to myself, do I get this?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jodie!
You've got this very funny, down-to-earth girl who's sort of almost got a Cheryl Cole quality about her. I mean, I could see her going off into any direction. She is the classic example of where a programme like this can do something for somebody who would never have got there without it.
It was interesting going to the opening night of Oliver, because such an enormous production on that massive stage, and thank goodness Jodie won. Anyone else would have been lost in that production.
I was incredibly impressed with hindsight about the public's choice, because there was no question she was always going to be very good, no question about that, but I think until she got on stage in this building, probably neither Cameron nor I really realised how good she was going to be.
For every wide-eyed hopeful, there's a polished professional waiting in the wings.
Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself one of the family.
It was a big decision to go into the whole process because I was already in the profession, I'd already trained.
Hello. I know Francesca. We've just worked together in the West End in Rent.
Yeah. Really? It's the biggest audition you'll ever do. I mean, when you audition normally, it's sort of 3 people behind a table, and if it's terrible, you leave and no one really knows. But on the telly, the world knows that you've done a bad or good audition.
Then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on.
You kind of think this could either be the massive failure of my career or the success.
Francesca's gamble paid off when only 2 days after being voted off in the 4th round, she was offered one of the starring roles in a new musical.
I'd only played 1 lead role before I went into I Do Anything, and now I've played 3. So it's just fantastic. It's put me up that level to where I wanted to be.
A year later, she's in Paris, rehearsing for the French premiere of Stephen Sondheim's A Little Night Music.
The first day I walked into rehearsals, I just kind of went, oh my God, I shouldn't be here. This is real actors. The theatre itself is like a movie set. It's all done on such a huge scale. It's so grand.
Well, she's a brave girl. The French are not that keen on musicals, we have to say. I mean, they do not know the works of A. Lloyd Webber, Esquire.
Looking up and invitation, not to live in my hand. And from on I notice the stationaries engraved and very grand.
It is the first time that a Stephen Sondheim show has been done in France. And Stephen Sondheim is coming to our dress rehearsal, which is terrifying, and then to our opening night.
A weekend in the country, just imagine, it's completely depraved. A weekend in the country.